Absolutely, they should feed Zeke more. And I love the tattoo, feed me, because that's exactly what you should do. Feed him more. And not just in the run game, feed him in the pass game. Get him involved in space, because at the end of the day, you want to preserve Zeke. You don't want to keep banging him up 20, 25, 30 times each and every game, right? So to me, the question has always been, is Mike McCarthy going to be patient enough with the run game to allow it to continue to evolve? Because what happened to when he was in Green Bay, right? He loved to throw the football, and he threw the football a lot with Aaron Rodgers, rightfully so. But this is a different football team. This football team is built differently. Now you have a great running back. You have an elite running back behind your quarterback, and now you have options. And so to me, is Mike McCarthy going to be patient enough, right? Because, listen, they already lost one football game. They lose another football game, they might just start throwing it all over the place. And so I just want to see, because Mike McCarthy always talked about how in that year off, he studied, he learned, he kind of retaught himself the game. So, okay, here we are. You lost your first game of the season, right? Are you going to start airing it out? Or are you going to be patient enough to continue to feed Zeke? Because Zeke, the offense has always flown through Zeke. And that's how they have gotten their success. That's how they won football games. And there's stats to back it up to show that when Zeke is fed the football enough times, it usually equals in a W.
Go ahead.
No, you go. I got to hear from the Hall of
Oh, you already know how I feel about this. I've just been trying to tell Skip this, but Skip was, he loves Dak. Ever since he saw Dak in the preseason, he didn't want to hear anything else about Zeke Elliott. But I'm a firm believer that if they run Zeke, give him his opportunities, and I believe somewhere the carries, maybe he could have got a few more carries, but I agree with you, Reggie, somewhere between 25 and 30 touches a game. They don't all have to be rushes, but he's shown his ability each year. He's gotten better at catching the football out of the backfield. Use that aspect of his ball game. And so now when they start worrying about him, now that's going to open up CeeDee Lamb. That's going to open up the other guys. But when they can run the football, now the play action. You look at Dak, 9 of 11 play actions, 11 yards per attempt. Non-play action, 16 to 28, 5 yards per attempt. Those linebackers, they got to, because they don't want to get Zeke have a head of steam coming downhill. So they're going to start stepping up to try to fill those gaps. And CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and Amari is going to be wide open in those creases that were vacated by those linebackers. So Zeke definitely needs to touch the ball more. And you saw Kansas City just say, look here, we got the best quarterback in football, and we're going to take a running back in the first round. So I don't really know what else to say. You can't say, well, Dak wants $40+ million. Hell, Mahomes makes $45 million, and Andy Reid just ran the ball. And we know who loves to throw the ball more than Andy Reid, Skip. No. And he would have got it back in the first round. So I do believe they need to run Zeke a little more, give him more opportunities. That will open up Dak in the passing game, and they can have a lot of success doing it that way.
So, Reggie Bush, as I watched my Cowboys lose at Rams on Sunday night, there were two revelations in the game. Aldon Smith looks like he's back to being a monster after 5 years away from the game. I'll take that. And Zeke looked like Zeke again to me. After last year, I kept telling Shannon, he came back late to training camp, just in time for the season opener. And he had been training by himself in Cabo San Lucas the whole training camp, and he looked like he was running in Cabo San the whole year. He never looked fit. He had that little second chin all year, just that little one hanging down, and it bothered me because I don't think he ever got quite right.
Well, he was feeding. You said feed him.
Okay,
feed me.
Feed me. Sunday night at Rams, Zeke had more pep in his step.
He did.
He looked sleeker. Yeah. He looked fitter. He looked a little meaner. He hit the holes with more impact and body lean than I saw all of last year, and I loved it, man. It took my breath away a couple times on that one little swing pass that he took home from 19 yards. I said, he was not going to be denied the end zone on that play. Well, that guy, if he's back, I'm with you. Again, he makes $15 million, and my quarterback makes almost $32 million. But you're saying feed the $15 million beast, right? And I can't disagree from what I saw because my passing attack in the second half sputtered. Dak threw for 79 total yards in the second half, and he made one clutch all-time great throw, and he got robbed on it because it was not pass interference. It's a joke. It was standard business as usual.
Yeah, you're Reggie.
It was
Reggie,
hand fighting. Reggie, what is wrong with you? He did not extend on him. Jalen Ramsey sold it. He effectively flopped. He looked like he got whiplash. It was a joke. And you robbed me of a shot at least overtime. Maybe they would have won the game. I don't know. But the point is, here comes Atlanta. They can throw it all over the lot. I think I still have a little bit of a suspect secondary. So feed the beast. You know, he had 22 for 96. I'm okay with 30 on Sunday. I would see 30 carries.
Yeah.
30 carries and throw it to him, as Reggie said, 4 or 5 times. I like that.
But like you said, though, sometimes you fall into the trap because the team the previous week threw the ball up and down the field. You see what Russell Wilson did. Russell had 5 incompletions. He had 4 touchdowns.
I think he had 4. Wasn't it 31 to 35?
Was it 31 to 35 or 30 or 30? But so you're looking at that, you're like, man, that's going to be me. Let Zeke get them touches early.
Okay, so Reggie, what's the top number? Would you give him 30 carries? Would you give him 35 carries in a game? What's the limit?
I would give Zeke 30 to 35 touches. I wouldn't necessarily make them all carries because at the end of the day, you've seen what he can do out of the backfield. You see that you can even line him up maybe at receiver and get him involved in passing game because nobody wants to tackle Zeke one-on-one. No linebackers, no safeties, no cornerbacks want to tackle this man one-on-one because he runs with great pad leverage, right? And that was one of the things I think we were comparing Saquon Barkley versus Zeke Elliott. Zeke runs with pad leverage. Every time he falls, he's falling forward, right? And so that's why you want to give the ball to somebody like Zeke because you know even if he gets hit and stopped, he's still going to fall for another 2 or 3 extra yards.
Yep, and he is going to punish a defense over 4 quarters, and it's Derrick Henry-esque where you don't want to tackle him.
Well, you know, Skip, I'm going to let the game determine how many touches he actually get because, as you mentioned earlier, that game against Washington, it was raining. He got 30-plus touches because it dictated that.
33.
Skip, if I'm running the football and y'all can't stop him, he might get 30 touches and have 200 yards. But if, y'all stop him and I see y'all try to stack the box, okay, I'm going to throw it, loosen y'all up, and hand it to him some more. So I'm going to let the game determine how much he gets the ball, but knowing that he's still a young Zeke is, 25? So he still is fairly young, even though he's been the bell cow workhorse back since he stepped in Dallas. I'm going to let him get his touches, and I'm going to let the game determine how many of those touches per game he gets, especially in the run game. But I'm definitely going to run him at least 20 times a game, and if I can get him another 5 to 8 throwing it to him, I'm going to do that also.
So, Reggie, do you remember your most combined touches in a game in the NFL?
I don't remember what my most combined touches were in a game, but one thing I do know is every time I touched the football, and if it was 20-plus times, I was very effective.
Really?
I had probably an average about 4.5, 5 yards a carry or a touch. But that's what a running back is, right? When you think about Saquon Barkley, you think about Zeke Elliott, they need opportunities. They need touches. They need opportunities to get to a rhythm in the football game, to get a feel for the defense, how they're playing them, how they're tackling them, how they're tackling the running backs. Yeah. So that's why I say you got to feed these kind of guys.
Do you remember at USC your most carries off the top of your head?
It probably would have been about 15, about anywhere between 15 and like 18.
Okay, no more than that.
Most. Yeah,
really?
No more than that.
Oh, I would have thought more, man.
But look at Barry, Skip. Think about how many times he lose 50. Lose 35. And you look at hold on. How did Barry end up? I saw him lose on 10 possessions. He lost 40 yards. And he ends up with 120 yards rushing on the game. But that's how he is. Those guys, you can't just give. I mean, sometimes in college you look at a guy, oh, man, he had 8 carries for 95 yards. Just imagine if, no. Barry, these running backs, they need touches. They need 20, 25 touches to get going. And especially a bell cow like a Derrick Henry or guys like that. The more you give it to him, ED said, the more you gave me the ball, the fresher I seem to have getting because they going to get tired of tackling me.
Yeah. By the way, the Cowboys went in to play a playoff game. I think it was 91 at Detroit. And they said, we are going to stop Barry Sanders. Jimmy Johnson, Dave Wanstead. And they took Barry completely out of the game, and Eric Kramer threw a party. You remember this? He threw for 400 yards, and they got blown off the turf.
And that was the last time they lost in the playoff.
That's correct.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.